Good afternoon, esteemed traders and investors. Today is Wednesday, June 24th. I present to your attention another market review for InstaForex. As always, I'm glad to be here with you today. So, we continue to hold a short position on the euro-dollar. Huge profit runs from 2.5 to 4.5 points. Excellent performance. I hope you participated in them, but some positions are still open, including on the pound. I think the movement will continue. Let's take a look at today's news. Today is Wednesday. Today, the construction numbers will be released after the housing sales at 5 p.m. and at 5:30 p.m. the crude oil inventories. Not the most exciting news, but the good thing is that the dollar-related news will come out at different times, so we can expect at least two good moves. Impulses on dollar instruments. Let's see what we can trade on the charts. Let's go. So, let's start with gold futures, which experienced a decline yesterday during the second half of the day. This was good news for those who had opened short positions. Let me remind you that on the weekly time frame, this instrument is approaching its yearly lows. Once again, let me remind you that, and the minimum is at the quote of $4,020, which is almost the round number of $4,000. No, I think that everyone who is currently going long will be stopped out below the yearly low. They will be removed from the market with great pleasure. From there, while the instrument is falling almost without any pullbacks, this trend has continued to persist even after the events that took place during the course of last week. We have a three-wave structure, a five-wave one, and a correction ahead, starting from the week before last and following that logic in this wave combination. That is precisely what we can call it. Of course, it's better to choose a short signal and work on the downside, aiming for a renewal of the monthly lows.
Looking for real trading advantages? InstaForex offers the lowest spreads and commissions. On major currency pairs, our conditions are better. Lower spreads and only $5 commission instead of $7. That's real savings for every trader. And now, let's get back to the market review.
As for the euro-dollar pair, yesterday the instrument heroically broke through the level we've been targeting since May. Let me remind you, it's already the end of June now. The level, give or take, 1.13500 to 800 has been broken. This all happened just yesterday. A truly gigantic three-wave structure, which originally began way back at the end of January, has finally completed. This is that big three pattern we see on the daily time frame. Those traders who didn't participate from the highs started selling aggressively from May, and there were plenty of different combinations here. Sell now. And that's the substantial profit resulting from it. Well, it's actually quite acceptable for this setup. The same FOMO worked out for around 2,000 to 4,000 points, actually. If you are curious about this, I actually documented every single one of these trades on the On100Forex website, where we have them all listed with links. Specifically to the analytics, where I provided the actual trading setups though. To be honest, not everyone had access for the full 2 hours, only for subscribers, but the ideas were quite clear, with stop losses. Congratulations to everyone who took part in this short selling frenzy.
I also want to remind you that every InstaForex client automatically receives loss insurance. For every $1 of compensation, only $4 of your friend's investments are required. Just submit a request, and your losses will be recovered. Let's continue with the review.
Well, as for what's next for the euro-US dollar pair, I can already imagine what many traders are thinking. Actually, you can look at the different positions of these traders on various brokerage platforms that publish open positions. Right now, they're piling into longs. Well, simply because the instrument is falling and the Forex market is more often range-bound than trending, it's more flat than trending. And people think it's a good idea to buy in a falling market, especially without stop losses. Not so much those who were selling during the flat period, in the area around 1.16200. A big congratulations to some Australian traders who bought in, or rather who have held long positions that are now over 2,500 points above the current market prices. We need to encourage the buyers who are currently going long or those whose long positions are stuck, and it is my sacred analytical responsibility to perform this task from time to time. There is also a comprehensive plan for the instrument to gradually ascend into position. Naturally, in my fevered mind, I have to share it with you. Let's throw a clean template onto the weekly time frame. Let's fantasize together. What's happening right now? Right now, the US dollar is strengthening against all instruments, against the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar franc, and so on. You can look at these instruments together and see that the trends are the same when the dollar is strengthening. This strengthening, including one of the latest waves of it, started precisely during the FOMC meetings. And this is a fundamental piece of financial news that is driving instruments down in markets where the dollar is the quoted currency.
With InstaForex, you can triple your profit. For every $4 of your friend's investments, you automatically get an extra $1 added to your profit, with no extra conditions.
From the technical perspective of wave analysis, the instrument called the euro versus US dollar currency pair has some very significant and interesting debts left behind by benevolent market makers. This occurred both in the year of 2018, in the year of 2021, and now already in 2026. And all of this remains relevant even if it is not directly horizontal in nature, but it continues to develop. It exists, yes, meaning someone was stopping the prices here, just as we predicted the downward movement. But on a smaller scale, on the 4th time frame, this was shown repeatedly, or on the daily charts. This is seen more clearly in the areas we were targeting, but on a smaller scale, around 1.13500. All of these were pauses where major players were stopping the price. It was needed by someone, and now the harvest is being gathered. This accumulation can also occur on larger time frames. And a significant upward movement to the area of 1.20, 1.23, or even 1.25 is also quite possible if we consider the large wave structures on the weekly time frame, representing one of the very last wave impulses in this sequence. This was in 2025, meaning that practically the entire year of 2025 up to 2026, the instrument was rising. And only in 2026 did the instrument form a 3-wave structure downward. This structure could also develop into a 5-wave pattern. For example, after some time, it might pull back and then give another downward wave. But while inside this bullish wave, if we, together with you, invoke the late Antonio Fibonacci, we'll see that the 50% retracement from which profitable longs usually start is a little lower. Well, from here, it is give or take 2 qubits on the entire map. As you understand, this is a reduced weekly time frame, and a good long 3-wave move for an update could happen here. Every single one of these, all of these various extremes that were present here at one time, have been permanently left behind in this place. This is a somewhat rough and very basic long side scheme, which, unfortunately, you can only participate in if you have specific accounts without any overnight swap charges or interest fees.
We also have a great offer. Fund your account and get a 30% tradable bonus. Trade with additional capital and expand your opportunities with InstaForex.
Within the framework of my partnership program, there are currently no such prerequisites, meaning this is possible, yes, just like it was in 2022 when the instrument grew to 20. So it turns out 22, 23 growth, 24 a corrective move, and then a wave 3 upward. That is 1, 2, 3 right now, maybe. And by the way, the growth also happened at about below 50%, meaning there was an impulse, a pullback, and then a wave 3, upward 1, 2, 3x, and at the same time, they have not been broken through. Accordingly, if it pulls back deeper, or if some breakdowns happen in this zone, one could participate in them, and with a massive breakout upward, it would be a powerful wave signaling the weakening of the US dollar. There are no prerequisites for this yet, but overall, has anyone abandoned these targets? If you look from the current level to the 50% Fibonacci, that's $2,500. Of course, it could drop even lower. It could even break through all of this and never come back, but overall, this scenario exists. So, such a plan does exist, but for now, there's nothing to do about it. Yes. So, if we're monitoring daily and weekly wave structures, your entry should either be from them or from confirming setups from the fourth wave, some confirmations you can use to jump in. As for going long, it's still too early, in my opinion. I know there are very few traders who can handle it. They've gone through a significant drawdown, sometimes as much as 10,000 points. By the way, let me remind you that the key long-term reversal is at the 105 level, just so you know. So even if it gets tested, I wouldn't be surprised. Most active traders work by holding their positions for a while. They typically trade during the day or perhaps for a week at the very most, but they might also endure a drawdown for up to a month, though usually no longer than that. So, keeping within this time scale, let's update our approach. The pattern is not at the bottom yet, nor on the weekly charts. Nothing interesting. The instrument is dropping. The instrument broke the low. Now some big players might start to spit it out. And this can lead to extremely volatile movements. As old Jesse Livermore used to say, the probability of a trend continuing is higher than the probability of it reversing, but let me remind you, he didn't end up very well. Not really. So by and large, the instrument is declining even on our favorite 15-minute charts. There aren't even any signs for short positions. To be more precise, there are no reasons for long actions. Every now and then, for example on Fridays, there are regularly some fixes scheduled. You can ride those moves too if you take small ratios. Friends, InstaForex offers a free consultation with a personal trading consultant. Follow the link in the video description, fill out the callback form, and gain access to exclusive offers and special trading conditions, BRT Plus, for risk-free trading. That's all. Trade with InstaForex, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for new reviews.